Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. Welcome back to another live show. And if you're watching this at 4:20 p.m. New York City time on January the 22nd, then this is a live show. So you can comment. You can comment within the comment section of the video, and I'll have the opportunity to interact with everyone live. So again, if you haven't attended a live show yet, try to do these as frequently as possible. And I'm trying to stagger the time when I host these live shows, rather, because I realize there's people from all over the world. So I'm trying to do some in the in the middle of the day. Some of them, it's mixed up. So right now it's 4:20 p.m. New York City time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. The only thing I ask is that we keep everything appropriate for all age groups. So no profanity and no questionable subject matter. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get going here. Again, you can comment live within the comment section of this video, and we're going to go through a bunch of potentially entertaining stuff today on the show. Again, everything is free game, so shoot your questions this way. And if you don't get to catch this live, you can always watch the previously recorded version on IrixGuy.com. After this live show concludes, it will become a YouTube video that you can watch whenever you want to and share with others too. David says, hey man, what's up? Welcome to the live show. So this is IrixGuy's live show, episode 28. The Only Dara says 9:21 p.m. in the UK. Very cool. And Toby says hello. Good. We're getting people coming in here. If you haven't shared on your social media yet, share this so that everyone you know has the opportunity to tune in live right now as well. So I don't have the typical green screen set. As you can see back there, I'm working on the studio. It's something that's always a work in progress. I got some new lighting. That right there is the ring light. And then I've got the softbox lamps and the green wall. So Toby says, I'm watching the video right now. Very cool. David says, yeah, 9:21 in Scotland. Ow! Sean Coonery just bit my foot. He's sitting here under the studio desk. He bit my foot. So, yeah, we got a lot of interesting stuff going on. Rick says I'm in New Hampshire. Very good food up there, and very good skiing. How's the snow conditions? Got a lot of snow out on the slopes, or is it kind of, what's the weather like up there? Toby says, I love your Maine Coon. Hey, Sean Coonery, you need to come up here. You got fans that want to talk to you. Come up here. He's under the desk. Let me see if I can get him to come out here. Sean Coonery. Ow. He's kind of irritated right now. Here we go. Here he comes. Here he comes. That is Sean Coonery, the enormous Maine Coon cat. So he wanted to tune in to the show. Actually, I don't think he wanted to tune in today. He was quite... whoa, I just hit the Siri button. He was quite comfortable sitting down there, but I guess he, since y'all requested that he be on the show, he made an appearance at least. So, let's see. Drones, Manawatu. Hi, bud. I'm from New Zealand, and it's 10:30 a.m. on the 23rd of January. Does the Phantom 4 Pro Plus work on Lightbridge too? So the Phantom 4 Pro Plus and also the Phantom 4 Pro that's been recently released, they use a new technology. It's newer than the Lightbridge. So it's supposedly a little bit better, but again, I like Lightbridge as well. Rick says, great skiing, more snow coming. Very cool. Talking about New Hampshire. Toby says, we breed some cats to have, and we have a Maine Coon, but I just can't believe how big they are. Yeah, they're... oh, wait a minute. Feedback is detected. Are y'all getting feedback? Sorry if there's any feedback. I think it was something with the studio that popped up. Yeah, Maine Coons are really big. They're there's only a couple of cats. There's a Norwegian forest cat that's quite big, and then there's a Savannah cat that's absolutely enormous. But yeah, it's Sean Coonery's a Maine Coon, so he is pretty big. Hey, come back over here. Go come back over here to the camera. Come back. There you go. There you go. Perfect. So yeah, he's just to put it in perspective here. I mean, he's I'm a pretty big dude, and he's enormous. So you're gonna have to move so I can see the comments here. Here we go. And don't type. Yeah. He said he'll just sit right there in front of the camera. So that's pretty cool. So YeBMX says, you might have already explained this in a previous video, so I apologize in advance. Is YouTube what you do for a living, or are you retired and this is more of a hobby? Actually, it's just one of many things that I do. I do a lot of startups. I'm an entrepreneur, so anything that I can tinker with, anything that I can and that I can play with and make it grow. It's something that I always try to get my hands in as many things as possible. YouTube is just one of my many pursuits, and actually found it by mistake. I don't know if well, I'll just go ahead and summarize. So I went on a cruise, filmed some footage, and at that time YouTube was by invitation only, so you had to be invited to become a YouTube partner. But so I accepted the invitation, and then I discovered another entrepreneurial pursuit, that being YouTube. So it went from casually posting videos to exploring what all is capable with YouTube, and this live streaming being part of that puzzle. Anything that can be done. I mean, you can see my studio. I've got a green wall. I got lights. I mean, I'm beyond addicted to this, and it's a really cool pursuit. So I appreciate that, man. Rick says DJI is stopping the Phantom 3 line. Yep, that's it's to be expected. They've got, when they jump from Phantom 3 to Phantom 4, obviously they introduced a new battery, and that's kind of convenient because now you got to buy a different format battery. So now that they're discontinuing their Phantom 3 line, it makes sense. What's interesting though, the Phantom 4 Pro, and the Phantom 4 Pro Plus, they all use the same battery. Now the Pro and the Pro Plus, it comes with an extended life battery, but it's still the same form factor as the previous model Phantom 4. What I'm excited about is to see how things are going to change with the Phantom 5. I have a feeling the Phantom 5 is going to be the most drastic redesign that we've seen so far with the Phantom lineup. So really, really interesting stuff. And the DJI discontinuing the Phantom 3 line is just something that that further indicates that something big is about to happen. So Rick says that cat is a lion. He definitely is. He's huge. Toby says, I found the right part for my drone. I'm ordering it soon. Colin Roberts Adventure Channel. Hey, I like that Adventure Channel. Hi from, and I'll mispronounce this, Gloucestershire, United Kingdom. And Toby says, because I took apart the VPS and looked, and there are two wires that can uncool, so I have found a wire, and it's an antenna, and it clips on, so I'm happy about that. Very cool. Always good to find something. That's one of the most, at least with me, one of the most fascinating aspects of drones has always been, if you were lucky enough to be part of the computer evolution, back before we had the internet, when you built your own computers, you didn't have Windows, you had Microsoft DOS, a black and white screen. You didn't have plug-and-play devices. You had to troubleshoot IRQ and DMA jumpers on your boards. If you were fortunate enough to have experienced that and have seen the evolution of computer technologies, from MS-DOS to Windows to now we've got internet. Well, we had the little service providers like CompuServe, AOL, and Prodigy, and then we got internet, and now we've got social media. And not only do we have social media, we've got live streaming video by way of YouTube that we're enjoying right now. So drones are very similar from an entertainment perspective. It's getting in early, and there's a lot of troubleshooting challenges. Things aren't refined, but we're seeing that that these drone technologies are rapidly improving. It's really impressive how they've gone from a system without a gimbal on it to gimbal stabilized video that now you can even get 4K 60 frames per second video. So it's amazing to see how rapidly this technology is evolving, and we're not anywhere yet. I mean, we're only a few years into it, so it's going to get really fun, I bet. The only Dara says, read it as Gloucestershire, if that helps. I'm in the same county. Very cool. Gary says, hello from Mooresville, North Carolina. And Toby says, technology these days, LOL. Yep, technology is constantly changing. And it's going to be interesting to see what they start to mesh with drone technologies. I mean, we've got the drones now. Now we've got the really high-end cameras on the drones. We've got a refined user experience, but it's going to be interesting to see, what's next for drones. And not just drones. I mean, what's next? I know there's a lot of buzz about VR, virtual reality, and actually I've got a VR camera right here, a 360-degree spherical camera, and it's cool, but it's just not there yet. I mean, it works, and it's entertaining to watch and share, but it's just not there yet from a quality perspective. You're not going to get really high quality video. You're not going to have the same quality video that you would get with a traditional camera and be able to watch it in 360-degree format. There are exceptions. I mean, you buy multi-$1,000 multi-camera rigs for filming 360-degree content, and you can get something pretty good, but that's out of reach for most everybody. So hopefully that technology will continue to evolve before people lose interest. And that's my biggest fear with VR, is that, we've seen multiple times, at least I have, in my lifetime, we've seen multiple situations where virtual reality was going to be the next big thing, and it always seemed to, there was a lot of buzz, and then it just fizzled out, and then you didn't hear about it for a while, and then they circled back around. Remember 3D TVs? What about that? And actually, what's funny about 3D TVs, I don't know if you ever watched a 3D movie, but it was actually quite cool. Just putting on the glasses, watching it with a 3D TV. It was actually really cool, but I guess it didn't catch on. It's really weird. Rick says, so what happens with all of the Phantom 3 people? What about update support? Will it stay flying? If I had to guess, and this is just an assumption, if I had to guess, I would assume that it would likely be something that would be no longer supported after some point in time, because, they're really, and I will say today, the DJI platform is my favorite platform. The DJI Phantom platform is my favorite drone platform. But I'm by no means married to DJI. With what I've seen, my assumption would be that it would probably be something they would just eventually discontinue and encourage people to buy the latest product. I mean, their product release cycle is on par, if not more extreme, than a company like Apple. You're always getting these incremental releases, and then you're getting the next big thing. But yeah, I bet it's amazing they discontinued the Phantom 3 so quickly. And again, that suggests to me that they're about to come out with something radically different from a design perspective. So we'll have to see what happens. Drone says, I understand the Phantom 4 Battery Pro and Phantom 4 batteries are backwards compatible. Have you heard of any compatibility issues? Actually, I haven't heard of any compatibility issues. I know a lot of people, instead of purchasing the more expensive extended life battery that you can now get for the Phantom 4 Pro or Pro Plus, a lot of people are just using the older battery from the Phantom 4 because there's really not that big of a flight time difference. So I mean, is it worth the extra money? I mean, maybe it is, but I don't know. YeBMX says, what is your drive motivation to your entrepreneur mentality? Well, the whole thing is that, if one just assumes that everything's going to be hunky dory, and they just do their thing, it's not going to lead anywhere. I mean, it may lead somewhere. It may lead to, just getting by and being semi-happy. But if you're an entrepreneur, you constantly want more. And ultimately, if you go after so many ideas concurrently and just continue to incubate them, and if you find out that one's going to fail, I mean, there will be with any sort of pursuit, there will be failures, but those are learning opportunities. But if there's something that's just absolutely horrible, discontinue it, move on to the next thing. But, never put all your eggs in one basket and have multiple things that can produce, hopefully, in the near future, produce financial freedom. And that's the thing, to answer your question, what is the drive/motivation to your entrepreneur mentality? That, for me, is just being free and not having to worry about stuff. I can do what I want to do. I can do what I want to do when I want to do it, and that's the dream. Just because if one never goes after it, they're never going to get it. Things aren't just going to occur. So it's a situation, trial and error until it hits, and that's what I do. What do you think? Gary Morrison says, what about Zyro or Autel? You said Alltech Robotics. I think you meant to type Autel Robotics. Autel Robotics, I'm really curious about. The other one you just mentioned, I'm not familiar with. I'm actually going to Google it right now. So it seems like there's a lot of drones coming out. I've heard of Autel. Zyro, that's the first mention I've heard of that, man. I just Googled it. I'm going to have to check that one out. I've never heard of it. So that's one that I may explore. The Autel Robotics at CES, Consumer Electronics Show 2017, they mentioned they unveiled a new drone that on paper looks really impressive. It's got modular camera. It's got landing gear that folds up. The modular camera, they mentioned a 360-degree camera option, a 4K 60 frames per second camera option, and then also a thermal camera option. So that was really cool. The design of it, physical characteristics, it closely mimics a Phantom 4. So, that's a positive for me because I know that that design and that size and weight tends to perform well even in moderate wind. So I'm really curious. I would love to get my hands on the new Autel Robotics drone that they mentioned at CES 2017 just to see how it performs. Because I definitely feel, and I've mentioned this before, I definitely feel that DJI deserves some competition. And GoPro, in my mind, flip back about a year and a half ago, in my mind I had no doubt that the GoPro Karma was going to be the DJI killer, and GoPro Karma failed so severely. So, I hate that for GoPro, but maybe someone will step up, and I don't know. The problem is with all of these other drone manufacturers that want to compete, it's a tough game. Imagine if let's create an analogy here. So say that you're going to create, that your mission is to create the best computer in the world, and you plan to do that. So your intent is to go out and create the best computer in the world. Now it may be excellent. It may be the best computer in your mind, in your team's mind, and even the market's mind, but it may not sell because people, they become familiar with a product and they become attached to that brand. You've got the Apple fanboys, you've got the Windows fanboys, you've got all different camps of people, and to come to the playing field with something new, whether your company name is Zyro, Autel, Unique, ABC, XYZ, insert name here, it's going to be hard to gain recognition with such big players already there. And I will say, I'm flipping through, since you mentioned this, I'd never heard of Zyro, but I'm looking at it, and just a quick scan of their website. It looks cool. It really does. But again, it's something I haven't heard of, and that's the biggest challenge with these new companies. When you're dealing with companies like GoPro, had GoPro executed well, they would have been a serious competitor, and they would have been a serious competitor simply because they already have that name recognition, and they've already got the reputation for excellent customer service. If you do a Google search and you search for GoPro customer service, there's going to be negativity about every company, but my assumption is that you will likely find that the GoPro customer service experience is overwhelmingly positive, and that's not the case for some other manufacturers out there, other drone manufacturers. So, GoPro had a chance. And I'm hoping that GoPro with the Karma, that maybe they won't re-release the Karma 1. Maybe they just say, look, we missed the holiday selling season. We had an unfortunate product recall. But even if our drone had not been recalled, we never would have been able to compete with DJI Mavic Pro because it just really knocked us in the dirt. So we need to circle back around and make something better. Bobster, I'm with you, man. I think as much as I hate to say that, I love GoPro. And right here, I've got their, and it's really interesting. With this series, I didn't even go with the Hero 5 Black. The Hero 5 Session is my favorite GoPro right now. It's small. It doesn't have a user-replaceable battery. This is a quality product. It's waterproof without having to put it in a case. But the Karma drone, unfortunately, was not a quality product. Even had it not been recalled, the performance that I got with it was not. The video, you had the fisheye, and if you wanted to eliminate that, you had to put it in linear mode. Well, if you put the camera in linear mode, you can't do linear mode with 4K video, so you'd have to record in 1080p. And since I do everything in 4K, it's just a deal breaker for me. I can get a competitor's product, the DJI Mavic Pro or just a DJI Phantom 4, and it'll do so much better. Bobster says, how much did you lose with the Lily drone? I completely lost my confidence with that company. I lost my confidence with that company a while back. It was kind of cool when they came out and they said, and I'm sure y'all probably saw the video where they do where they threw the drone in the water and it was supposedly waterproof, this, that, and the other. It was a cool concept. It looked cool, but if you're unaware, a few weeks ago they announced that Lily camera, the Lily drone, is no longer going to come to market. That's unfortunate because they seem to have ambition, but I guess their execution unfortunately did not match their ambition, so they failed. So yeah, we won't be seeing the Lily camera. IV Gamers 89 says, hi Irix, great show, buddy. Salute from Apple Valley, California. Apple Valley, man, I bet that's a cool place. Is that where Apple is? I know they're in Cupertino. I don't know if that's in the same area. Have I ever used the Sony X3000? That's their action camera, isn't it? I haven't. And it's interesting you say that. If Sony comes out with an action camera that does 4K 60, which I'm hoping they do soon, maybe even at the NAB show, what is that, National Association of Broadcasters, is coming up soon. If they unveiled that, I would probably just switch to a Sony action camera. The only reason I stuck with GoPro, as long as I did, you accumulate all those mounts, and you don't want to go with another platform when you've accumulated all those mounts. Why have to rebuy all those mounts when you can just slap the newer model camera on it? So, that's why I've been married to GoPro. But now, since all my other cameras are Sony or Sony sensor based, I absolutely love Sony. So it's definitely something I'm interested in. Bros Before Drones. Hey, Irix, we just came from Connecticut where we were able to do huge drone video with our friends, Channel Drones. We were wondering if you ever checked out some stunt drones in the past. I've never checked out stunt drones, but that's something I may get interested in soon. Some drone racing and just doing that just to explore the hobby as a still somewhat early adopter. I know that's seems to be really blowing up with popularity, and it's something my fascination has always been YouTube video, and that's what brought me to drones, was being able to capture videos for YouTube from a different perspective, an aerial perspective and a gimbal stabilized perspective. So Toby says Sean Coonery is behind me. Sean Coonery is. He's running around the studio. Jesse says, I'm selling my car to buy a Phantom 5 Pro. I'll walk to work. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what that Phantom 5 Pro brings to the table. Bobster says you need to get the GH5, talking about the Lumix, Panasonic Lumix GH5 with built-in 5-axis stabilization in 4K, and do a review. Actually, that looks really good, and I was very impressed. I used to use the Panasonic Lumix GH4, which was the predecessor of the GH5, but now I'm just going to hold out, and I know it'll probably be a more expensive camera body, but I'm going to hold out for the Sony A7R III. My expectations with it is that it'll likely that it'll likely do 4K 60 and possibly even a greater resolution. Not that I don't like the GH5, but it's a micro Four Thirds camera, and now all the glass that I have is Sony full frame. So I'd have to. It would just since I've stuck with Sony, I can't. I mean I don't need two different camera systems. I would love to though, but I can't. Toby says, I would like to know what the new Phantom looks like. Me too, man, and I'm hoping that something leaks soon. Again, my assumption is that it's going to be a foldable design. It's going to have modular camera, and it's going to be a little bit smaller and a little bit more lightweight than the Phantom, but probably a little bit bigger than the Mavic Pro. To bridge that gap, you want something that's the Mavic Pro line is ultra portable. But with the ultra portability, you're not getting as high end of a camera. You're getting some stability issues and mild wind. Whereas with the Phantom, it's a heavier drone, and you can get smoother and better video quality because it's got a better camera on it. So I'm expecting that's what we expect to see is something that's that's foldable, drastic new design, modular camera option, probably foldable landing gear, and that's signaled by a potential competitor, Alltel Robotics, that they're unveiling that. Per their CES 2017, that's folding landing gear, and it would only seem to make sense that if DJI deems them a possible threat, that they would want to integrate that into their Phantom product line. Mick says, I think the Phantom 5 will feature dual batteries for redundancy. You know what? That's an interesting thought, and it's surprising that a drone manufacturer has not done that yet. I mean, even if let's say you got the primary battery. That's, let's say, 30-minute flight time. But then you've got a secondary battery, it's 5-minute flight time. Maybe from a safety perspective, what they would do is have the primary battery, if there's anything catastrophic that happens with the battery during flight, it would automatically flip over to the secondary battery, small battery, lightweight battery, not adding a lot of size and bulk to the Phantom, but 5 minutes or so flight time, enough that should enable someone that's flying line of sight, being safe and responsible, that should allow them provide them with enough battery life to safely land their drone without it crashing catastrophically to the ground or into the water. So that's a brilliant thought. Something something I haven't even thought of, and something that would be a positive. I mean, just from a safety perspective, and then also a peace of mind perspective. I mean, when you're flying something that's over $1,000, you don't want to have it. If it crashes in a safe location, you don't want to lose that money. I mean, these things are expensive, and if the addition of a small, secondary battery could enable it to, to have a fail-safe to function as a fail-safe mechanism, that would be really cool. Mick says, with the proposed rules in Europe under ESA regulations, any drones that don't feature redundancy will be illegal. Interesting. So I think DJI will have to take this into account while designing. Yep, that's interesting. I didn't even know that about Europe. Very cool. Trevor says, IrixGuy, big fan. What do you feel like is the best option for me? I had a Phantom 3 Standard and I would like to upgrade. Should I invest in a Phantom 4 or Phantom 4 Pro? So my best advice is, based upon the fact that the Phantom 3 line has apparently been discontinued, I wouldn't go with another Phantom 3, strictly because the components may become harder to find, and they may become more expensive because of the shortage. If they're not manufacturing it anymore, it could be a bad move. My honest opinion, and I sent you a link to my 400 or Below website, I would just go, like Bobster said, wait for the Phantom 5. That's probably the best advice. But if you were going to get one now, I wouldn't go with the Phantom 4 Pro or the Phantom 4 Pro Plus. Although the 4K 60 is nice, it's, at least the one I had an intermittent, as I mentioned before, I had a video stutter where intermittently while recording 4K 60 would do like that, and it just wasn't streamlined. Now with my Phantom 4, I had the rock solid experience. The Phantom 4 is the most consistent 4K 30 frames per second video platform that I've flown to date. You can check out my tons of videos of the Phantom 4 check out actually one that I just posted. I posted on my channel, I think. Let me see when I posted that. Posted it on, I think it was today. It said, "I'm the governor, the island governor," I think was the video title. Let me get y'all a link. And that was filmed with the Phantom 4. And it's just, I can take off with it. I keep it in 4K 30 auto. I get consistently good image quality, consistently good stability, and if I had to get an upgrade today, I would do that. But like Bobster said, I would say hold off for the Phantom 5, because I have a feeling that the Phantom 5 is going to be the next big thing. Not just because it's the newest, but I think we'll probably see a drastic redesign. And when you're seeing a redesign, then the Phantom 4, just like the Phantom 3, the batteries and the accessories may be harder to come by. So yeah, wait if you can. Phantom 3 standard is nice. I mean, it's anything Phantom 3 and up, in my opinion, is nice. I mean, we experienced the biggest from a functionality perspective when we jumped from Phantom 2 Vision Plus to Phantom 3. That was one of the biggest jumps, in my opinion. Let's see here. Mick said, "I'll drop you a link to the summary of regulations." Basically what they're doing is killing the hobby. It's currently proposed and may change. Man, that's a bummer. Yeah, shoot me a link on my Facebook if you want to. B. Hendo says, "Did you see the link I tweeted you yesterday about the drone, the 360-degree drone?" No, I didn't. I actually haven't logged into my Twitter. Let me check that out here, because that sounds really cool, man. Thanks for sharing it with me, by the way. I'm bad about, I'll check the best way to get me, my Facebook fan page. I'm really good about checking those messages, the private messages. When it comes to YouTube, obviously I do my best to check all the public comments. Sometimes they get blocked inadvertently by YouTube, so I have to go through and unblock them. But yeah, if you shoot me a message on Facebook.com/IrixGuy, that's the best way to get me. I mean, I use Twitter, but sometimes I'm bad about not seeing everything. Bobster has a good theory here. He says DJI will keep promoting the Mavic as their entry level. The Phantom will be radically changed soon, and the Inspire 2 as well. Hey, I'm in 100% agreement with you. I mean, why not make your take advantage of the radical redesign that they put into place with the Mavic? Make that your attention getter. It's small, it's lightweight, it seems to be the drone for everyone, and then step up to the Phantom 5, which will be just super high quality video, 4K 60 or better, hopefully a modular camera. And then for people with an infinite budget, with an unlimited budget that don't care about the size and weight, you got the Inspire. So that makes sense to me. Very cool stuff. "50 meters max height." Wow. Let's see. 50 meters would be 300 meters is 1,000 feet. So 150 meters would be 500 feet. I'm not good with math. There you go. Bobster got it. 150 feet. Wow, that's not high at all. But I mean, really, when you think about it, in a lot of areas, in a lot of countries, 400 feet seems to be the norm for flight. But when you're thinking about without a zoom camera, when you get up over a couple hundred feet, the details really aren't that great. I mean, I know that most flights that I do, I mean, I would say about 100 and usually around 100, but maybe 200 feet. I mean, I seldom go anywhere close to 400, and obviously I never exceed 400. But that's interesting, though. It's kind of a pain, though, if you're used to having a few hundred feet more that you can fly in, and now you're getting gimped. That's kind of disappointing from that perspective. So yeah, I'm looking at this the Xiro XIRO that you just mentioned, and that's trying to see if it's even, just scrolling over here. Huh. 1080p. Yeah, this is the I don't see the 4K version out there. But that's the Xiro drone that people would mention. Now, Bros Before Drones says, hi, we have 3 questions. We were wondering, what camera do you use to film with? What program do you use to edit? And what is the view on flying a Phantom with FPV VR goggles? Okay, so my editing workflow is, let me get that for y'all here. Be just a second, I'll have that link. So for all my edits, it'll be just a second, I'm grabbing that link. So this is the equipment and the workflow that I use for all of my 4K 30 videos. So this is the editing hardware that I use, and then it's the way that I export after I finish my edits. It's how I export using the compressor software to make it what I feel is optimized for YouTube upload. Because keep in mind, especially if you're doing 4K, it becomes a very large file size, and if you're on a limited bandwidth plan with internet upload, that could become a problem. So this makes a smaller file size that's faster to upload, and from my experience, it still looks really good after it uploads to YouTube. Now, keep in mind, when you upload to YouTube, it's got to process on YouTube servers end. So usually what I do out of best practice, I wait a day or so after uploading to publish. That way, as soon as I make the video go live, it's fully optimized. It's finished processing on YouTube server side, and the video looks as good as it will. As far as cameras that I use, obviously, I use the drones, but when I'm on the ground, I use my go-to camera is this right here, and I'll shoot you a link to it. It's the A7R2, but I've really enjoyed this. I mean, this is a somewhat high-end 4K camera, but not only can I do video, but I can also do high-quality stills. And it's just, from being around the block, having been around the block with cameras, this is one that I've stuck with, and it's something I've stuck with because I can get consistently high-quality video and photo, and not being a complete video or photo expert by any means, I can still capture quality that's somewhat convincing. And it's interchangeable lens. Right now I've got the 25 millimeter that I tossed on that link that I just sent here, but I've got a 25, an 85, and a 50 that I use for my 4K videos as well as my still photos. And it's not too big or too heavy of a camera. External mic, I've got it linked there as well. It seems to me to get really high quality audio, and it's not that the mic's not that expensive. So yeah, that's my go-to rig right now. Trevor says DJI has pretty much stopped third-party VR goggles. Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't fly with goggles anymore, and the only reason being is that it's often in a lot of areas, if you check the regulations in a lot of countries, there's probably some verbiage now that prohibits the use of FPV goggles, just for the reason that that the verbiage would probably argue that if you're using FPV goggles, then you're not maintaining visual line of sight with the drone with your unaided eye. So, yeah, it's not something. I mean, unless things change, it's not something I would use in any of the countries where I go. So, it's just my opinion. Brian says, hi, IrixGuy's still waiting on my Mavic Pro ordered it in October. Actually, man, if you go to 400below.com, my website, as of this morning, the Mavic Pro showed it as available. So you may want to check that out. Just go to my 400below.com, go to Shop Drone DJI Mavic Pro, and you may find that it may still be available for order. And I'm not talking about having to wait a long time. So let's see here. Yeah, I think there was a huge demand for the Mavic Pro, but again, my assumption is that they probably amped up the release date of the Mavic Pro, so they started shipping it before they were ready. I think they were trying to do it with to not become outshined by the GoPro Karma, which ultimately was a failure. But they had to get their Mavic Pro out there ASAP. But it looks like production's finally catching up, so I think those will be readily available now, hopefully. B Hendo says, I'm debating on ordering or waiting for a Phantom 5. I know that's a tough debate. I mean, I think the Phantom 5, I mean, again, it's this assumption, but I think it's going to be radically new design, so probably wait and see what it brings to the table. So yeah, what else we got going on here? Again, I try to do these live shows at different times throughout the week, and capturing a lot of new people this time, which is great. Again, it's 5:02 p.m. New York City time. Trevor says the question is, do you wait for the Phantom 5 to release, or do you wait and see if there are any major issues with it? Now, in my case, as soon as it comes out, assuming that it's affordably priced, I'm going to get it ASAP. The reason being is that's part of the thrill for me, getting in on these new technologies as soon as they release, expecting problems to occur. And again, those problems in my mind are troubleshooting challenges. It provides entertainment value, so I expect the problems. A smart consumer would probably wait. They would probably wait and see, what breaks, how many people perceive the performance of the drone. Is it worth buying before they go in and rush out and get one? But watch my channel, and obviously as soon as it comes out, if it's not priced out of my budget, I'll be getting one ASAP, and I'll take it out in the field just like I've done with every other drone and show you the good, the bad, and everything. I mean, I don't doctor it up, so how it performs for me is how I share those videos on YouTube. So and again, the most recent disappointments I've had, and it's been it was hurtful, but the Mavic Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro, for me, I didn't have a perfect experience. And those are the first two DJI drones that have mildly disappointed me. So I'm hoping that the Phantom 5 is going to be the one that gets everything back on track and everything is perfect, and we got better video quality, better video stability, more manageable travel size and weight. I think it's probably going to be worth the wait. But again, that's speculation because I don't have it in my hands yet. But as soon as I do, it'll be here, and it'll be on 400orbelow.com. So, yeah. Toby, you said you got to go. Have a good live stream. Be watching more of your vids tomorrow. Hey, man, thanks for tuning in, and hope to see you on another live show soon. B Hendo says, check your YouTube messages for the drone link I sent you. I'll do that. Let me go in here. Oh, cool. I got the link. That's funny. It hit. I got the link, but it was hit by the spam filter. That's weird. Yeah, I'll check that out, man. I've saved the. Let's see. Meta Gamer says non-drone question. I call you. Tried a number of 360-degree cameras in the past. Which has been your favorite? I know the quality is still not perfect for this new technology. Well, and you can check out several of my videos. Let me get you a link to this. And again, don't expect, as you indicated, and as I'll state as well, don't expect quality that's mind blowing. But for a still photo or a video that you capture with this and share on Facebook or YouTube, it's actually really cool. So the novelty factor of it is really cool. That's the camera I use. This camera I got right here, 360 degree spherical. I can do videos. I can do still photos. I'll tell you the good and the bad and the ugly in a few quick sentences here. So the good is that it pairs with an app and you control it with an app. The ugly is that, and I have managed to do it in Final Cut Pro, but it wasn't optimal. If you want to take these videos, if you just want to go out and snap a still photo and or a video and then share it from your smartphone to Facebook or YouTube, it's an awesome experience. But if you want to edit that video and incorporate your logos and branding or whatever for your YouTube channel or your Facebook page, at this point in time with the software available, it's a very limited experience. So, just to use for fun photos and fun videos that you take directly from your smartphone and put on Facebook or YouTube, this LG is really cool. And it's, in comparison with some of the other options out there right now, it's not that expensive at all. So I would definitely recommend it. And again, you can find it on that link that I just posted on my snagbear.com website. Voltage says, you somehow look younger now. A compliment. Thanks. Yeah, I've actually started a very strenuous workout routine. Still eat a lot of junk. Well, not junk. I eat a lot. Now I don't care. I mean, got to eat and have a good time. But yeah, I've started a very serious workout routine. So I appreciate the compliment. Trying to get trimmed back up here. Jason says, hi, just off topic. What broadcast software do you use if you have a green screen? Well, actually, I use the same software that I'm using now, and it's a utility called Wirecast, and I've found that it works really well. When I'm doing my live show, I'm at the desk behind me, and I've superimposed a green screen backdrop. So the live green screen, also known as chroma key, is what I use through Wirecast Pro. So the same software I'm using now. Like, see, I could flash up other cameras if I had multiple USB cameras. Actually, today I'm just on my built-in iMac with Retina 5K camera. But over there, I've got my webcam, my USB webcam that I use for my green screen live shows. So it's a really robust piece of software. There's several different versions of it, and I didn't go with the highest end. I'm using what's called Wirecast Play, Play. And actually, my version's now obsolete. I'm using version 6, and I think they just came out with a newer technology. They've got a more expensive version that'll allow you to stream to Facebook with Facebook Live, but I didn't purchase that. I purchased a tier below it. But I've been impressed with it. The chroma key, if you've got good lighting, you can see I've got the softbox lamps on each side back there. They light the green screen, make it really bright. I don't have shadows. And then I've got a key light in front of me. This little camera that you see there, that's my USB camera on the tripod. And I put a light behind it as a key light. And the live chroma key I found is somewhat convincing. So, and you can add your lower thirds. You can switch among multiple cameras. You can switch among multiple logos. If you got something you want to flash up in the beginning and the end like I do, the IrixGuy's live show, when I start, that's playing, and then I hit a button within Wirecast, and then it brings up this camera, which is the camera I'm speaking to y'all now. You can even change your audio option. Obviously, I'm using this mic, but you could use other mics as well. It's very robust. It takes a while to learn, and that's actually something I want to do is post some tutorial videos for Wirecast and address how to use the live chroma key. But if you get it and have any questions, man, drop me a line on my Facebook fan page, and it may be an opportunity for me to whip up some more YouTube how-to videos. So, yeah, I like it a lot. It's been a very good tool, and I run it on a Mac. I think they've got a PC version as well. Now, Vulture says, when do you think the Phantom 5 will release? My expectation is that it will release in March. I don't know. I may be wrong. What do y'all think? I think Phantom 5 comes out in March. And hopefully it won't be an issue where it's in short supply like the Mavic Pro was. Hopefully they'll have enough units available so that it can ship quickly. Yeah, Jason, I'll add that to my to-do list. And what I'll do, the first time that you do it, if you do the chroma key, the first time you do it, learning how to key out the background and how to insert, you can actually do multiple layers. So if you've seen some of my previous live shows, I've got the water in the background, but then I've got a sign that's sticking out of the water. It says IrixGuy.com. That sign's actually one still image that's a PNG format. And then the background video is a video that I filmed. So I've got 2 layers in the background, and I've keyed out the green wall. So it sounds confusing, but it's actually quite simple. So I'll whip up some tutorials and get those up on the YouTube channel. That'll be more content. Something interesting I mentioned earlier, about YouTube and this, that, and the other how-to videos, tutorial videos. If that's something that you're ever willing to tackle on your own YouTube channels, they tend to perform really well because people are always searching for how to do something. So, something that you may be an expert with, or maybe you're not even an expert, maybe you're just somewhat well versed. If you can post a tutorial video, it's probably something that'll bring a lot of enhanced exposure to your YouTube channel. So just something to consider there. So let's see, we are 53 minutes into the show. I'm gonna go for a few more minutes. It's 5:12 New York City time, Eastern time, and again, these live shows are not scheduled. I'm trying to mix up the time slots as much as I can, and then ultimately work towards having maybe once a week have a scheduled in advance live show, and maybe that scheduled live show week to week I'll mix up the time slot, but give enough warning, or not warning, but enough advance notice so that people can plan to attend live if they want to. Because of this, y'all are seeing this live, but y'all got the notification when I went live. I mean, I could have gone live at any point in time, but it's I think if we start doing some scheduled live shows, we can get this viewership up into the thousands easily, and that'll be really cool. So, yeah, great conversation. And again, this is IrixGuy's live show, so you can find all the previous episodes on IrixGuy.com, but I also do Epic Drone Show, and you can find all the Epic Drone Show episodes on EpicDroneShow.com. So this live show is a little bit across the board. Epic Drone Show is pretty much 100% drone centric. But as you know, I'm a big drone nerd, so I like to nerd out over drones, and I'll include drones on each show. Trevor says, do you foresee DJI producing even longer lasting batteries? I know they are a company and need to make money, so I can't see them putting a new battery on the market that lasts over 45 minutes. Here's what I see happening with that, and actually you brought up a 100% solid statement there, is that if you make something too just like with cars or anything, if you make things too efficient to where you can't sell multiples of the battery or the fuel or whatever, you're going to do yourself a disservice. What I think may happen is that, and was it you or was it another viewer earlier in the show? Let's see. Let me scroll back. I think it was actually Mick. Yeah, I think Mick said this, talking about the dual battery for an upcoming Phantom. I would think that instead of making a battery exceed, let's say, an hour or whatever, that they would probably offer that functionality by way of multiple batteries. So if you want to exceed an hour in flight time, maybe they release a drone that has, let's just say, 4 battery bays, and it's up to you to determine how many batteries you put in that drone, and then that way they've got to sell more batteries. But if you're only using 1 battery for that flight, then there's 3 bays that will be empty, and those 3 bays would have to have like some sort of like plastic piece or whatever that mimics the size and weight of the battery just to keep the flight dynamics stable. So that's something I would foresee happening, and then that way they're able to sell more batteries. They're not putting something out that's so energy efficient that they're not going to be able to sell accessories. I think that's again an assumption, but I think that's what may be going to happen. So that's a really good question. And to Mick's point, I think it was Mick earlier, talking about redundancy and how important that's going to become. That would be something that would play right along with that. Rick says, "Irish Guy, thanks for the great show." Rick, thanks for tuning in and tuning in live. That's really good. Kevin says, "Hi, it's Kevin from the United Kingdom. During your review of the Phantom 4 Pro, do you know if it's quieter than the previous Phantom 4? As you know, the Phantom 4 can draw a lot of attention, which we can all do without." Well, I would have loved to have done a side-by-side comparison, but to just hear the two, if there is an audible difference, it's not anything significant. I will say the Mavic is significantly different from a sound perspective, but I think if you took a Phantom 4 Pro and a Phantom 4 out in the field, obviously the visual appearance of the drone itself is somewhat insignificant. I mean, yeah, the Phantom 4 Pro has a different camera, and you can notice the multiple obstacle avoidance sensors on the side and this, that, and the other. But for a casual onlooker, somebody that, in my opinion, someone that would be in that safe and responsible location, trying to raise a ruckus in a negative way, trying to say, "Man, I hate drones. You don't need to fly the drone there." To try to avoid those types of people, I don't think if you had a Phantom 4 Pro or a Phantom 4 that anybody else would notice a difference from a sound and an appearance perspective. So that's just my opinion. So check this out right here. This is we were talking about Wirecast a minute ago, the live chroma key and streaming app that I use for these live shows. So we're 58 minutes in, and I'm going to conclude this live show. But when I do, what I'm doing now, I'm clicking in Wirecast. I'm clicking the outro graphic. So when I say goodbye, I'll then hit an arrow, and that'll take the outro well, I should say outro video, because it's got music with it. So when I hit this, you'll see the outro, and you'll also hear the music from that. And I'm doing that within Wirecast. So 59 minutes in, hour-long show. I think that's a good time. Again, I don't have to adhere to a certain time for these shows. I make them as long or as short as I want to, but I want to host a lot more. So I appreciate your viewership, tuning in live. Stay tuned for more live shows soon, and we'll get back together. Be thinking of questions. Tune in to the next live show, and we'll keep this forum going, because I think it's something that's entertaining and beneficial for all of us. So one last question here from Kevin. After the long delay in shipping of the Mavic, do you see an updated model in April at NAB? I do see something coming at NAB, which is I think it's National Association of Broadcasters. It's a big show, kind of like CES, except it's more camera centric, and I think that may be the Phantom 5. I don't know if we'll see an updated Mavic. I think it'll be a Phantom 5 that we'll see at NAB. We'll see what happens. Until next time, fly safe, have fun, and tune in to the next show. Y'all have a good day. Hey y'all, IrixGuy here. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to subscribe, like, and share. It's viewers like you that enable my channels to continue to grow. Thank you.